Hi, this is Miriam from Granny Keto. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let me just get some housekeeping out of the way because I always forget. Please hit subscribe. It's right under here. And also, I have a new podcast called Chew the Fat with Granny Keto. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about what we're doing now. I am working with a couple on my Granny Transitions program. One is staying around step one or step two, cutting out sugar. She's cutting out sugar and baked goods and may lower her carbohydrates slightly by also limiting grains and legumes. But her husband is going all the way keto. So it's very interesting to see the dynamics of how couples work keto or how one works keto and one is supporting the one who's working keto. And so I'm using this YouTube video also just as part of the housekeeping to say I'm putting out a call for couples. You don't both have to be doing keto. You don't even both have to be doing on the way to keto. I'd like to work with you on Granny Transitions. It is free coaching. We work on the ear, and it's just a lot of fun. So please subscribe to this YouTube channel and also to Chew the Fat with Granny Keto podcast. So that is my housekeeping. My last couple of videos, I try to time them, but this time I have a timer that works. I know your time is valuable, so when it rings 10 minutes, we're done. Okay, so last month I did a series on do you have to track, how do you eyeball things, things along that, how do you start keto, how keto is different for every person. And I noticed that being January, the news is there's just a glut of keto stuff. And one of the things that have been hitting the news is fasting. And it's even a big topic within the community of people already doing keto. And so I want to talk about a few things. So this month I'm going to cover, do I have to fast? That's today's. By the way, the spoiler is the answer to all of these are no. Next week's YouTube video will be, do I have to eat organic and grass-fed food? No. Do I have to count calories? No. Do I have to count macros? No. But if you want to skip ahead to week 4, which is do I have to count macros, actually backtrack through the last 4 YouTube videos because I talk about how to do this without tracking macros and counting calories and all of that. If you go to my website, grannyketo.com, you can sign up for a free thing that I'm giving to everyone. It's called Dancing with Keto, and it does explain how to do this. And so do that, or if you go into there's an Ask Granny feature. You can just right away just ask Granny any questions. And I'm just putting this out there because I think that keto puts a lot of people off. Like, you think you have to fast, you think you have to eat organic, you think you have to track every morsel of food that goes in your mouth. You think you have to count calories, you have to count fat, No, you don't have to do any of that. There's 1,000 ways to do keto. And I would like to teach you the 997 ways that you don't have to make yourself crazy with keto. So let's just start with fasting because that's the big thing. Do I have to fast on keto? But I'm going to talk about something else very, very quickly. On the Facebook pages, all of these ones that stay, Keto Quick Start and Get Started with Keto and Let's Do Keto 2019 and all of this sort of stuff, people come into it a lot of because of these news reports. I mean, Good Morning America, all of these have done reports on this. And they all come in thinking that they have to fast. No, you don't. But I want to jump ahead and say, if you want to fast, please don't do it the first day you try keto. How fasting is easier on keto is because you're getting the glucose out of your system, the glycogen stores out of your system, and your body is learning how to run on fat. When you are fat adapted, Ketosis is different. Ketosis is the beginning. Um, can be the whole time you're doing keto, but it's also the beginning stages when you are starting to burn keto and starting to use ketones. But your body may not be totally what's called fat adapted. And that means that your body is learning and has learned how to run on fat. So it's not running on your sugar stores. It's not looking for carbohydrates. When you are functioning on carbohydrates, you get very, very hungry very quickly. If you've even had a dinner with rice or pasta or bread, you're looking for food a few hours later. It's that carbohydrates. How could you possibly fast in a state like that? So if you're going to do fasting, and I am going to talk about it, if you're going to do fasting, please wait until you are fat adapted. Once you are fat adapted, the thing that stands mostly in your way is up here, okay? Right off the bat, I want to tell you I'm not a faster, but I want to talk about IF. You'll hear this in any Facebook group, on any keto website, now on television, now in the magazines. IF stands for intermittent fasting. Okay, that happens anyway. So in that sense, I do intermittent fasting. And that is usually involved time restricted eating or eating windows. And I did another YouTube video on this thing called OMAD, 1 meal a day. If you do any of this, time restricted, eating windows, OMAD, most easily, don't eat if you're not hungry. You are already doing intermittent fasting. When I say that I am not a faster, I don't fast this way. I don't say to myself, well, I'm only going to eat between the hours of 2 and 6. Or after dinner, I'm not going to eat till the next dinner. Or something like that. If I'm not hungry, I don't eat. So in that sense, I fall into an intermittent fasting pattern. So in other words, I'll have a couple of coffees in the morning and maybe I don't eat again until 7 or 8. And then after dinner, I don't eat again until my coffee's in the morning. Well, I've intermittent fasted, but I've not done it according to a clock. A lot of people do it according to the clock. And that's what most of these magazine and news articles are referring to, that you either eat 1 meal a day or you time restrict your eating. So that is the set intermittent fasting. That's what they mean by intermittent fasting. Or they may go, let's say dinner, and then 24 hours, and then breakfast the next morning. I mean, whatever it is. But the point is, you're writing down on a piece of paper, this is when I had my meal. I'm not going to have another meal till X amount of clock. So you're intermittent fasting. If you hear the term EF, that's called extended fast. And that's when people might fast for 24 hours. Well, 24 hours might be more intermittent fasting, but they go 48 hours, 72 hours. Some people say, I'm not going to eat for a week. Who wants to join me? This is the extended fasting. And I would suggest that you do some reading on it. If you have heard of Jason Fung, he has a good book on fasting, and I would read it or I would look on the internet. I'd learn more about it before doing it. When you do an extended fast, it's really important that you keep up with your electrolytes. And some people define extended fasts differently. They include fat, so they may allow the coffee with cream or bulletproof coffee or an avocado and egg breakfast, something like that. So there's a lot of different definitions, and you have to find out what's best for you. Whatever you do, please do not just say, I'm doing keto and I'm going to start with a fast. Because first of all, you'll probably get sick. I mean, under the best of circumstances, people get keto flu, which is your body is adjusting fasting to releasing the water that the carbohydrates are holding on to. And so you lose your electrolytes, which is salt and potassium, salt and potassium. I didn't write this out. The third one, salt and potassium. It'll come to me while I'm talking, but the three minerals that you really, magnesium that you need. And so if you just jump right into fasting without really, I mean, being fat adapted is really, really important. Take that out of the picture. You're still going to have trouble if you haven't learned how to replenish your electrolytes, even if you're fasting. Please, I beg of you, don't jump into fasting if you are just starting keto. But if you're already doing keto and you are interested in fasting, do your research on intermittent fasting and extended fasting. And, 3 by 3. You may see the term 3 by 3. Dr. Dom D'Agostino has a system 3 by 3, and he encourages fasting 3 days, 3 times a year. Some people will do 1 week twice a year or something like that. I'm just trying to make the point that there's a lot of ways to go on this. None of it's safe if you haven't even started keto yet. Fasting is not dangerous. I'm not saying it's not safe because it's dangerous. It's not dangerous. But your body really has to be adapted to this. So please don't jump into fasting. Now, what if you don't want to fast at all? I don't fast. When I say I don't eat unless I'm hungry, well, first of all, that's my 10 minutes. And that's stickers my granddaughter put on my hands yesterday. So I won't stay much longer, but I also want to do another term. You'll hear autophagy. Or autophagy, excuse me. And that's really your system doing some house cleaning. It's your cells getting rid of toxins, it's getting rid of bits and pieces of protein, it's getting rid of things that you're not using. And that actually is healthy for you, but you'll get to that anyway. If you're not eating, if you're not hungry, then you're not sending in this glut of food into your body. And that's where you have trouble and where the autophagy comes in handy because it gets rid of all of this stuff in your system. One other thing I want to mention why fasting is good. If you say, because we always say don't eat if you're not hungry. So many people come to keto and they say, I don't even know what hunger is. I haven't been hungry in ages, because you eat according to the clock or you eat according to the occasion and you don't even know what hunger is. In that case, after you've started keto and you're fat adapted, okay, don't do this first. In that case, take a day. Don't worry. Do OMAD. Make sure you have dinner. But don't eat all day. You will learn what hunger is. That will come back to you. And that's one really good thing about doing this. And I have a little smiley face because hunger is a good thing. You don't want to not ever be hungry. You're not hungry. When you do keto, you're not hungry in the sense of you just finished eating and you're hungry, or it's 10 o'clock at night and you're hungry for chips. It gets rid of that sort of hunger. But if you wait and listen to your body and listen to the signals, then that hunger, that sense of hunger will come back to you. Okay, so that's what IF, intermittent fasting, EF, extended fasting, time restricted, okay, that you only eat during certain hours of the day, which is the flip of eating windows, meaning my window is 2 to 6, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. So my fasting is 6 p.m. to 2 p.m. the next day. OMAD, 1 meal a day. Autophagy is your cell's house cleaning. And don't be afraid to be hungry. It's important. So anyway, that is, do I have to fast on keto? No, you do not. You will naturally eat less often and you will naturally eat less food. And if you just do that, then, I'm going to talk later in another video about, I said before, 1,000 ways to do keto. All right. Your one way might be 3 meals a day. And if it is, Enjoy them. Make sure they're keto. Make sure you don't overeat. You're fasting anyway. If you have dinner and you finish dinner at 7 o'clock and you don't have your coffee till 6 or 7 in the morning, that's 12 hours right there. Don't you let people bully you into longer fasts, days of fasting, hours of fasting. Don't let anyone bully you and say, well, you're not doing keto because fasting is part of keto. And if you don't fast, then you're not really doing keto. It breaks my heart, some of these Facebook pages. I go in and I look, I see what's going on. Some of them are incredibly supportive, but some of them are not. And you have to be very careful not to be bullied. If you don't want to fast, I don't fast. I don't want to fast. I have no interest in fasting. I help my clients if they want to. But don't you let anyone bully you into fasting. It is not necessary to fast to do keto. Anyway, so that's Granny Keto's advice for the day. Next week will be, do I have to eat organic and grass-fed? Again, the answer is no, okay? But come in and tune in for that because there's a lot of misconceptions about what you have to do. And I don't want you to feel bad that you feel you're missing the mark on something. No, you're not, okay? Anyway, please subscribe. Come to Granny Keto Facebook page and look for my podcast. And if you are one of a couple and you're interested in this, please get in touch with me, grannyketo@gmail.com, or through the website or through the Facebook page or through comments in YouTube, and I'll get in touch with you. You'll get some nice coaching. All right. Anyway, listen, I'll see you. Bye-bye. See you next week.